What is up, my friends? Welcome to another awesome Chopping It Up. This time with my brother, Lanky Progress.
He's your brother?
Yeah.
No way.
I know, it's like #1 comment. He's not really your brother.
I'll comment on something on Facebook and then we have the same last name. And then they're like, Facebook confirmed they have the same last name.
Best friends.
For sure.
You're actually blood brothers.
Because of Facebook, that confirms it for me.
That's it, bros. That's actually kind of a funny way to start this anyways, because this Chopping It Up is essentially all about LP's like growing up.
Life story.
Yeah, life story. Because actually, little known fact, we are brothers, but we come from two different like childhoods.
2 different branches.
And 2 different families, 2 different trees. We have the same father. And so we have different mothers.
Brothers from different mothers.
Hey!
Yes, that applies here.
But LP had a much different like upbringing than I did. It's much more tribulated than mine. So I think it's very interesting because I don't have quite the same perspective as he does. My life was relatively easy in terms of like my parenting and stuff like that. So I thought LP would share his story, give you guys some insight. If you guys are going through the same thing, if you know someone who's going through something like this, if you never ever had to deal with anything like this, it opens your perspective up, which I've done from learning what he's gone through with his whole childhood. So essentially we're just gonna kind of chop it through.
Yeah, I want to emphasize that like anything I say, it's not to say anything bad about anyone or anything. It's just details that need to be included so that people understand and maybe they can relate my story to their story.
Yeah,
basically.
Absolutely. All right, so start wherever you want to start. I mean, you can start from when you're a baby, you can start from when you're a kid.
I want to emphasize this is one of the few times that I've been like kind of nervous on camera in a long time, and probably about like 1 or 2 years, I think.
This is the first time you've ever actually told this story.
Yeah, it's one of the first times like he's actually got me nervous. He's like, oh yeah, you're gonna tell your life story, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm very nervous now. Now I'm like a little bit weird about this, and I like don't know what to say anymore.
Thanks for the 10-minute heads up, and then we just go shoot it.
Yeah, and I feel like it'll be better. Okay, so I was born here in San Diego at Kaiser. I don't remember what the name of the place was, to be completely honest. And I grew up in Santee, California, which is like just down the hill from where we live now. Yeah. Like literally, it's not even that far. And let's see, what are the details? My parents got divorced, so my dad got divorced from my mom at about, somewhere in the single digits. I don't remember exactly.
Super young though.
What age. It was somewhere in like 3 to 6.
Really?
Or something like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, 3 to 6, I think. So I haven't really, I don't know, you don't really remember anything at that point in your life.
No.
To be honest.
I have
Do you remember
such a hard
anything?
time with my childhood.
I don't remember a thing. Like, I remember like very small
like
things.
Like certain toys you used to play with.
Being swung around on a shovel in the air. That was like one of my favorite things as a little tiny kid. I remember that. That's about it though. Parents got divorced, and I don't know, apparently there was a bit of, I don't remember this. Actually, I guess I do remember one situation. A 7-Eleven in Santee, actually. I remember it. There was a bit of yelling and like quarreling, you know, so it was like a bit chaotic at times for a kid. But as I tell the story, I feel like people should know that rough stuff in your life just makes you stronger. Absolutely. I think you can agree.
100%.
You know?
100%.
And that's why I'm telling this story. So they got divorced then, and then let's see. I'm trying to remember like that. There was this set schedule of like, what was it? It was Tuesday. Oh man, it was Monday dads, Tuesday, Wednesday moms.
Oh my.
Thursday dads.
Oh no.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday moms. And then that would alternate each week. I still remember that. What you know?
Attaboy.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That sounds chaotic.
So that would alternate each week, and it was like that for years. It was like that for a long time. I would alternate each and every single week. You want to wait for this point to die?
No, well, I think, wasn't that weird? Like, wasn't that weird to like try to like, because like each time you get like comfortable in one place, you'd have to pack your stuff and go to another place.
Yes. I feel like, oh man, I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but I'm going to speak frankly so that other people can like feel comfortable with their lives and feel comfortable with, you know, if they live 2 different places and they feel weird about it. It's the only reason I'm saying this stuff. I feel like still to this day, like sometimes switching houses so much makes it so that I don't acclimate somewhere. Yeah. Makes it so I don't get like comfy somewhere. I'm always like ready to get up and go.
Yeah.
And that's such a bad thing. When I watch people like get really, like you've always been comfortable. You've got like your lair and your routine that you do. and it's like invincible. And I'm like, man, I'm always like ready to go, and I'm always having my like routine interrupted. And it's like, it's not to say anything bad about anyone in my life or anything. I'm not saying anybody's an interruption, but it's my fault. I'm always kind of like mobile. It's weird.
No, you are. You're always moving.
Yeah, I'm always moving, and it's like it's one of my biggest flaws. Like, it is my biggest flaw, I feel. So that's something that happened from, you know, moving around all the time, to be honest. And it does kind of suck. But at the same time, moving around all the time makes it so that my mom would also move quite often. She would move, I don't know the increments, but we were moving quite often. We'd always move to new neighborhoods, and I'd have to meet all the new kids. So
and go to a new school, right?
Yeah, no, not a new school. I'd
Just,
always
like,
go to the
still the
same
same.
school, because Dad would stay always here, and I would always go to schools here in like La Mesa and stuff like that. So where was I going with this?
Well,
so
your mom was moving all the time.
Oh yeah, she was moving all the time. So, and I was switching back and forth in the houses all the time. So what that did, I feel, you can agree with me, I can talk to anybody.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Well, you were always like that. When I didn't know you, like, because I was just a kid, so I just thought you were just some other brother of mine. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know your story, so I was just like, oh, like LP's just real cool. Like, he's just cool with everybody. Like, he's the cool kid.
I can always talk
you're like,
to everybody.
You're sociably malleable.
Very malleable.
You know what I mean?
Moved around so much that I always had to, like, you know, fit in. So I'd figure out ways to do that. If there's one piece of advice I can give you guys, it's be humble. If you want to make new friends, be humble and like, just shut up. You don't need to show off.
Yeah, you do that well.
Tell somebody how awesome they are, and you are in. They can't deny you. There's nothing they can do. You just told them how awesome they are.
Yeah, or you'll like apologize when there's no need for it, but then the person's like, I can't be mad. You already apologized before you started that conversation with me.
I'm famous for that. I'll convince him. I'll be like, dude, this is how you got to say that to him. You got to apologize first.
Yeah.
And then this and this. And I've just learned how to do that. And so, let's see. Living in the apartments in there and stuff. So middle school was it wasn't too chaotic. I was a bit of a troublemaker. I was known to launch water balloons across the campus. I once put a condom on the girls' locker room doorknob. So like there was this mean teacher in middle school, PE teacher, and she was just mean to all the girls all the time. And so I knew she was the one that had to open the door every day, because she was the first one, because she's the mean lady, so she's always on time.
Yeah.
Right there at the bell. So I'm like, I was in band, and I was playing the clarinet for practice outside of the classroom, had condom in my pocket. Don't remember where I obtained condom. I found it somewhere. And I was like, this condom going on that doorknob.
On that doorknob.
All you guys watch. Told everybody in band. Put the condom on doorknob, and she came up, and of course was extremely frightened by condom on doorknob, and went another door, went and told the office, turned into this big thing.
Yes.
Somebody narked me out.
Of course.
And then it was this girl that liked me, actually. I don't even remember her name, but she liked me, and she narked on me for some reason.
Is that reverse psychology?
It's terrible. They gave me detention, never went. That was just like that was like
That's
how
something
LP
you
was
did
in high school
all the time, bro. I remember you telling me like that you just skip all of the detentions you needed to go to.
Don't know how I got away with it, but I did.
I don't know either.
Yeah. And let's see, that was pretty much middle school for me. I was a little bit of a troublemaker until the end. In like 8th grade, I started discovering rollerblading and skateboarding. It kind of started honing my energy and everything. All of a sudden I had something to concentrate on all the time. Started getting really good, and then went into high school. Freshman year was still skateboarding and all that. And then this is where LP turned all negative and crappy about freshman year, I think it was. And I don't know why. I have no clue why. I just turned into like a really crappy negative person.
Just got pessimistic.
Very.
It wasn't a reason, really?
I don't even remember why.
Like it was like a certain girlfriend or something like that.
It was like freshman or sophomore year, I think. Yeah.
And this is why you never smiled in photos?
Yeah, that period of time.
I remember that,
That period of time. You guys maybe have seen photos.
I was a little kid, so I was like...
Yeah, you'd get like a smirk, maybe like...
Be like, how come my brother
like-
doesn't smile?
Literally just like, F this.
Yeah, dude.
Forget this.
You would do such a cheeky little dumb smirk.
Yeah, like, I'm done with this. Out of here. See ya. I got my Fossil watch on. I'm ready to go skating.
Yep.
Osiris's. Well, who knows about Osiris shoes?
Shazam.
Let's see. Yeah, very pessimistic period. Oh, fun story about that. Friends started noticing. Do you remember Cajon?
I remember Cajon.
Cajon, that crowd.
Yeah.
Dusty and Tuffy and my friend Sean. Right around sophomore year or so, I started getting real negative, and they just like ditched me.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, wouldn't answer my phone calls. That was when pagers were still around.
Hell yeah.
Pagers.
Hit me on my beat.
Page
bro.
them, no response, nothing. And that like kind of was the beginning of me starting to kind of humble up again, and like realizing like if you're negative and you like try and not do things and you're always negative, things are negative. But if you absorb them positively, it's a positive, and you can have fun. Just gotta forget the negative crap in your life. That's just how it is. Let's see. So then around, I think it was like junior or senior year. Oh man, this is something I've never talked about anywhere. There's like the whole depression thing and all that stuff that you guys have heard of on my channel, but like nobody's ever heard about this. And I feel like I don't talk about it because I don't want to say anything bad about anybody, but I feel like I have to talk about this because it'll help you guys in the long run.
Yeah.
But in high school, one day I was at my aunt's house, I think. I ended up living at my aunt's house because it was like I would split between my mom and dad's house. Then eventually it shifted to my aunt's house because she would help me with homework all the time, and I'd stay at her house for that. And then it was like I just kind of started staying there a lot. And then what happened, one day I was there, our dad brought me there or something, or he came up, I don't remember what it was, but they sat me down and they were like, we got to tell you something. And I was like, what just happened? The last time somebody sat me down and told me something, I think it was my grandma died. But I was like weird when it didn't affect me really. Yeah. And they basically told me, your mom is gonna go to prison for dealing drugs. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And this is where, like, I don't know, I didn't go negative. It was really weird. I don't quite remember that period of time. It's strange. Like, I didn't take it too badly.
Was this like a shock to you? You didn't know any of this at all? You hadn't like clued in at all?
After I got told that was going on,
pieces came together, huh?
The years after and still today, you still kind of go, oh, that's why this and this was happening. Oh, that's why this or that. And I'm not really going to talk about that stuff because there's no need to. It's just kind of like negative stuff doesn't need to be talked about. But you get told something and then all the puzzle pieces align from your past. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely. And so that kind of happened. So then I ended up staying at Dad's house, split with my aunt's house. And then what ended up happening is I slowly drifted just kind of staying with my aunt all the time. I remember that. And then I lived there for like 12 years. Yeah, wow. But before that, I was kind of still between dad and aunt, and I kind of went through like a ton of jobs, like a lot of jobs. I had a job, what was it? Pacific Event Productions. It's where basically we would bring, if you had a big theme party for your corporation, we would bring, you remember this, we would bring a big theme party, a Golden Brick Road if you wanted a Wizard of Oz party. All the centerpieces, the tablecloths, all that stuff. And the job was literally to come in the daytime from about 8 a.m. to about noon, setting up parties, and then you come whenever the party ended, like midnight, something like that, and you would strike it until about 4 a.m. Let me also tell you about this other part of the job. I know you're already smiling because you're like, man,
I want a Hercules party is what I was going to say. I want you to make a whole Coliseum for me.
We would have been able to do that. We had columns, we had everything.
And like
we
a
had
sword
the lighting
for me?
too. We would have the swords, there'd be a photo booth, there'd be everything, bro. Not even kidding. Full lighting, orchestrated, all that stuff.
Where's my birthday?
So also at this job, this is just, I'm just like telling you these guys, like I'm telling you these kind of like crappy details because it's gonna kind of help you guys get through your life, you know. At this job already it was like setting up parties and then taking them down. you would call at 5 p.m. the day before to find out your next day's schedule.
Oh, that
so
sucks.
basically, you had no life.
You're just on
ever.
call.
You're always on call. But the paychecks are like
Pretty decent.
amazing. So your off time is pretty sweet because
Yeah.
you've got a lot of money.
Yeah,
It's
like-
pretty good.
I got us. I'll pay for the whole bill.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So there was that job. At one point in time, I was a grave digger.
Grave
You
digger.
know about that. I would
That's
actually
crazy.
dig graves and do the little hit the button and lower your grandma into the hole and everything. And I feel like I'm a good person for that because like I'm very compassionate.
You're very
and,
respectful.
Yeah, like things would happen and go wrong sometimes, and I'd take care of it in a very polite, compassionate way. They definitely appreciated that. If
Yeah.
your grandma's dying, you definitely appreciate
Yeah, yeah.
compassion. I was at a funeral recently, and I was ashamed at how some of the people were behaving. It was very, very terrible. Anyhow, after that, let's see, went and worked at an auto body shop. You know about that, Amato's Auto
Yeah,
Body.
Manos. Yeah,
Some people are
That was
probably gonna
dope.
look that place up.
that was cool.
It was all high-end cars.
Yeah,
all
that
the
was
time.
nifty. You'd be
And
like driving Marcelagos around for testing and stuff.
All sorts of stuff.
That
I've
was
driven
cool.
everything. Like people were asking me car questions and like boop de boop, and like no, I've driven everything. Like I mean, not recent models, but
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
gotten to
but
drive
during
all
that
sorts of
that
stuff.
period,
And that was a job where I had a boss that was I'm gonna keep this as like PC as possible and as nice as possible. He's a very intense person.
yeah,
Yeah, and I saw him drill many people down, like their self-confidence, just like really
Just to
into the
nothing.
ground.
Yeah,
And I don't know, I feel like that job made me a tougher person. Those 8 years of my life, like really, you know, it made me stronger. I got a little depressed in the end. And towards like the end of working there, I started, what was I? I was like, geez, I don't even remember my age, but I was going out a lot.
Do you
I'll
think
be
it's-
honest. It was when I started drinking.
yeah, I remember that.
That was
period.
my drinking time for sure. I would go out with people. There was one point in time, geez, I hate talking about this stuff.
Well,
this is the first time I've talked about
It's
this
cathartic,
stuff.
bro. It's good to talk about this kind of stuff.
One time I got into a situation with drinking and everything, and I decided to drive my friend's car home. And this is when I was younger. This is when LP wasn't thinking right. I basically did a hit and run with my friend's car. You remember this?
I remember this. It was very
Yeah.
weird from my perspective.
Yeah. People heard about this and everything, and they were just like, I can't believe this just happened. I kind of barely remember the situation. It's the first time I was in jail, which really sucked. That was very weird.
That's
But-
a perspective right there.
But because of all that stuff from my past, the switching houses, the moving neighborhoods and jobs and all that stuff,
Yeah,
I can get along with anybody.
yeah.
And sure enough, within no time, I had friends, and I didn't have
Running
to
a
worry.
kingpin organization.
Yeah,
as
I didn't
prisoner.
have to worry about the dude in the corner that's like 3 times my size and on crack and playing with himself in the corner openly. And he's ready to like kill someone, it looks like. Didn't have to worry about him because I made friends, so it was cool.
That's good.
And it wasn't like a jail experience. Like it wasn't like there was no beds. It was just like the holding place for people and
It
all
wasn't
that
prison.
stuff.
It was jail.
Quite humbling. That was good.
Yeah, no doubt that's humbling.
Yeah, I remember waiting to be picked up in downtown.
That's like an epiphany.
Yeah, I remember waiting to be picked up in downtown, waiting on a wall. It was, yeah,
It was kind of like
it was humbling.
It was a bottom right there.
Yeah,
at some
I remember
point.
smelling my hands for some reason all the time. I don't know, like afterwards, I was like, this is that's bad. Like this is retarded.
Yeah,
I'm being
yeah.
very stupid. That was a stupid thing. I need to remember this. After that, lost the license for a year and stayed in Del Mar. Kept my job at the auto body shop. Rode my bike
Oh, that's
to work every day.
insane.
Became very, very fit. I had a sweet mountain bike, and because I wasn't paying for car insurance or anything, I didn't have a car. Like so, I bought a sweet bike, and I would ride my bike to work every day. But it was very humbling, you
Yeah.
know, like losing it kind of
You
humbles
realize
you up.
why you're riding that bike.
That, and you realize like, you know, I don't really need a car. Like that became a big part of my life, and
Yeah.
I made it too big of a part of my life. And you start appreciating things like way more.
Yeah.
You stop becoming so dependent on like a car. It's weird.
Yeah, you see it as a luxury now more.
Yeah, it was weird.
Understand the
I had
luxury.
this habit of going to shout out old school Blockbuster Video. I used to have a membership there that would let you rent 2 DVDs at a time. During this year, I watched so many movies, and I feel like that year of watching all those movies really helped my editing.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be honest.
Yeah, you
I
see all the
watched so many things, and it got to a point where I'd look for the weirdest stuff possible.
No, that's not
weird
good.
animes,
I can't handle that.
weird anything.
I'm good off that.
Because I was, I had time, so I could just.
You watched the whole store.
Yeah, literally. No, it was pretty crazy. It was like 1 block from my house, so I could. So that went by. Kept the job at the auto body shop. Shout out to them for letting me stay there through the suspended
Yeah,
license
through all
and
that stuff. That's crazy.
And rode my bike there. It was an awesome bike, Specialized P3, I think it was. Amazing bike, downhill bike. And after that, quit that job. And no, wait. While I was at that job still, you remember this. While I was at that job still, I was at my girlfriend's house at the time in Orange County. Oh, geez, I didn't even talk about the girlfriend in Orange County. Geez, I feel bad now.
You got so much story.
I know, there's a lot to this story. I had a girlfriend in Orange County. Anyhow, long story short,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
we woke up in the morning one day, and I slapped her on the butt to be like, hey, good morning. Boop. And then she started chasing me to slap my butt, and I put my hand out to, no, you're not gonna slap me. She caught this pinky and snapped it,
Woo!
perfectly. You can't be like a professional auto detailer, inspectioner guy with a broken pinky. And so I ended up on disability for a while.
That sounds painful.
And then I ended up dabbling in glass art. My friend started showing me how to make marbles and all sorts of stuff. And so I discovered glass art for a short period of time. And my friend offered me a job, and I'm not gonna say any names or anything like that.
Yeah.
I got offered a job, and because in the glass art world, a lot of stuff is kind of underground and all that stuff. I got offered a job, and I got offered quite a bit of money, and I was like, you know what? I've been at this job for 8 years, and I feel like I've definitely put in my time here. I've got that 8 years for a resume. I'm gonna go play around. I had a savings and stuff. And so, I'm gonna try and keep this as simple as possible. A friend basically convinced me to get into the glass art world and invest my money in a project and all this stuff. And it went pretty sour, and it sent me into a pretty big depression. That was the beginning of my just F everybody. I'm done.
Yeah, that was your heavy one.
During high school and stuff, I had a lot of girlfriends that cheated on me and stuff like that. And even after high school,
I remember that.
it was a very frequent thing for girls to cheat on me. I don't know what is with that, but
I remember. As a kid.
and so at that point I was like, this was a really good friend, and a lot of stuff went sour. And I was just like, what? There's really no point. I'm just really depressed. Forget everything. Whatever. And I basically, started drinking again, and started actually plotting out in my brain how I was actually gonna do this, how I was actually gonna kill myself. That's weird for a lot of people to talk about. It's weird for me to talk about, honestly, but there was actual thoughts of doing it, which is, people were telling me that's really not good. If you're actually thinking about the sequence of events that need to happen before
Making it happen.
Yeah. And
versus just thinking about the idea of maybe doing it one day.
yeah, I think it was my mom that I finally told one day, and she's like, you need to change something. Then everything needs to change. And I don't remember how did stuff, jeez, I don't even remember. I moved in with you. Yeah, I moved in with you.
That was right at the beginning when you started lifting, right?
Yes. And lifting is literally what saved me, I feel.
Yeah.
And like YouTube. Like I watched I got into like CT Fletcher. That was the first
Yeah, I remember
YouTube.
you were amped about him all the time.
Oh my God. I was
Amped about him.
You were doing YouTube fitness videos and I like cared about him. And then like I showed you CT Fletcher and I'm sure back then you're, oh, okay. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't watch any of my stuff. And now I look back on it, I feel kind of bad. It's kind of weird now because now like literally a week or two ago, we filmed for him. Like
And then like, if this had been multiple years later, you'd be watching the video that I had edited that we had shot for CT Fletcher, being like, wow, I really like the CT Fletcher guy. like we make those now.
I know, it's pretty insane. So I ended up staying with him, and I got a 2-week trial membership, I think at 24 Hour Fitness, where he was working out. I remember like legitimately gave me like 2 pairs of gym shorts, and those were all the gym shorts I had. Like I had no gym clothes. Before this, I was like, you know, glass artist dude with like boots and jeans, you know, like all rough and tumble so the stuff could fall on you and burn you. And like, it was weird for me being in the gym. And
I remember
this is something I want to talk about. I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a person at this gym that walked up to me at the beginning, the first day I was there. He was on the rear delt machine. I remember specifically the exercise we were doing.
I remember this.
This person told me, they asked me, so what's your journey? Like, what are you trying to accomplish in the gym? And I said, I want to be 200 to 220 pounds. That's my dream. 220 is like my fantasy, but within reality, I'd like to be 200 to like 205, somewhere in there, which I've almost done. And this person told me, you remember
I remember this.
Oh, they told me
Yeah.
that's never gonna happen for you. That's an impossible thing. Look at, you're way too
stupid.
small. That's
skinny.
not gonna happen. Like, they didn't use stupid. They didn't like do it condescendingly like that, but they did say it's impossible. It was like a statement.
Like it's a silly idea.
And I was just like, I didn't let it affect me, but I did let it turn into some of my motivation.
Yeah, it was a little ragey for a little bit there.
Yeah, it really was. And I definitely saw some noob gains from it, I think. The eating, I would think about that moment when I was eating. And I feel like that helped me make a lot of eating gains. Like if you have something like that that motivates you and you're like, if you're a skinny person and you're on that hard gainer journey, you can use stuff like that to motivate you to eat. It can be out of like, it's kind of, it's a negative place, but if it's what you got to do. Sometimes you pretend people are getting shot and you have to
I do weird stuff in my brain.
And stuff.
I should talk about it one day, but for now we'll leave it at that.
I think you have in some videos, but
Dude,
they have to
I
go
think
back
about
and
weird
find them.
stuff. Like if the song is at a certain pace, like I'll think about punching somebody's face with, that's messed up, but hey, that's what I need to do to get to that 20 reps instead of like 12. Anyways, I remember the first 2 to 4 weeks though, when you were lifting, you would like certain exercises and things, you're like, I can't do that. Like,
yeah,
there's too many people in here that are like looking at me. I feel like an idiot doing that.
I don't even remember that. I'm glad you're saying this,
like,
because
I would do deadlifts and then you would be doing like back day stuff, and then I'd be like, you should do deadlifts with me or something. You're like, I don't know how to do it.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
I don't want to do it because I feel like stupid looking.
Well,
like,
I knew my capabilities. I hadn't learned that.
It was like,
and what's funny is I had a CrossFit personal training certification, and I didn't know how to deadlift. How did I get through that class?
right.
Are you serious?
I'm not saying anything about CrossFit, but I'm just saying something
that
about
was an
CrossFit.
observation that I made just now. That wasn't even.
But yes, yeah, it was interesting seeing you be like sort of nervous and like tiptoeing about.
That's got to be fun for them to hear about.
Because now you're like the goofiest.
Now I'm like,
silliest
you
out there
want to watch me? Oh,
wear
okay.
a Superman costume while you're doing chest day or
Yeah,
something.
get ready for a show because it's gonna be really fun for you. I'm gonna distract you from your lifting.
But that's just interesting because like that's what lifting does for you. Like it changes not only like the way you like do things physically.
It should.
But well, yeah, exactly.
should.
If you're doing it correctly, and then it changes your personality and the way you like perceive things as well. Because up to this point, you've had like 4 different switches in your personality.
Yeah.
Due to like certain events in your life.
Yeah, and I've had lots of different roles in lots of different places. I'm definitely a jack of all trades. I've done like so much stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Everything. And that's, I don't know, sometimes it's a good thing. Like if the zombie apocalypse happens, it's an awesome thing.
You can have a lot of skills.
But if not, then it's not that cool to have all the trades because it like you don't. It's not financially.
Jack of all trades, master of none. That's how the line goes.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So let's see. Lifting at first, living with you, and then I I saw a lot of noob gains.
Yeah.
At first, a lot of awesome gains, and then, well, I don't know if I should tell all the gory details, but you and I started dating sisters, and I started dating, they were sisters, I started dating one first, and then I remember one day I was like, you do know my brother talks about your sister like all the time, and then it turned into you guys dating, but my end ended up not turning out so well. I'm not mentioning any names here, but I did just mention they're sisters, so it's kind of obvious who I'm talking about, but to some people. But I ended up discovering, like, there was this person that I started dating, and then this person at the end that was just completely different. And yet again, like, I found out stuff at the end where it was like discouraging. It discouraged me it discouraged me with my thoughts on, you know, relationships and everything. I really started questioning
what you thought was going on versus what was.
I really started questioning everything again, and I kind of drifted towards getting depressed again, but then I managed to kind of fight it off a little bit.
I think what was valuable at that time was that person was pessimistic, very much so, at the end of the relationship, you know, and got progressively more pessimistic towards the end of it. I feel like because you came from that past before, and then you had gotten out of it, you know, a couple times, but especially this time though, you were like lifting and stuff, so you're like feeling yourself, you're like, I'm capable, I'm like a person and stuff. And so I feel like
it ended up getting robbed from me though in the end, man. Like going to the gym became like this big.
But I feel like in your head, like you remembered that, like, oh yeah, when I was just doing this with my brother a minute ago with nobody,
so simple.
This was good, and we were happy, and it was solid, and I was progressing, and I was feeling really good about myself. So I feel like it was in there, and it was like a reminder.
And I
because you did get a little peso.
Yeah, there was this thing that someone said to me, and it hit me, and it was the beginning of like the end of the relationship for me. Somebody said to me, "Are you with someone because you want to be with them? Or are you with them because you don't want other people to have them?" And I encourage everybody, when you're with someone, to think about that.
That's a good way to think.
Like, if you're staying with someone because you don't want anybody else to have them, really think about that. That's like a territory. It's like you're peeing on a fire hydrant, and you're doing it with your life. Like, it's so stupid. Like, it's really dumb. And then people will like go and have children with that whole
fire hydrant.
Yeah, they'll like mark the fire.
They
mark the fire hydrant further with children. Like, I hate to use that analogy, but it's kind of how it is. You're marking your territory.
It's a solid way to put it.
It's really weird. I don't know. It's strange. Anyhow, I heard that from someone, and then I started looking at the relationship, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am really stupid. And then I started questioning it. And anyhow, that ended, and I kind of drifted a little bit towards depression again. You
started drinking a little bit.
I did drink a little bit, and then I met baby girl, and everything turned around pretty much. Like, I had never discovered a woman that didn't care. Like, she really doesn't care. Like, there can be the most attractive, tiny little stupid whatever girl in the gym bent over in front of me, really trying hard to impress me, and she knows that I'm not impressed by it, I don't care.
Yeah.
And she is completely fine with everything. Sometimes a lot of I'm sure that some YouTubers out there, YouTube fitness people, get a lot of crap from their significant other when they leave town and go to these expos, because you have like people wanting to take pictures with you, and they're like, they're fans, what people call them. I don't call them that, like, you know, but I'm sure some people's significant others get very off-put by that whole situation.
They're very weary about it.
Yeah, and never has she ever really had a problem.
She's very mature.
Yeah, and she has like dug in this like permanent little space in my life that will never ever disappear now, and I didn't know that existed. It's like the first time I've discovered it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, all you had to compare all this is just like these idiots, dude. I remember just one specific one that you went out with. Her name started with an M, and she was just such an idiot, bro.
Yeah, that was one of the, that was the one in
pretty.
high school. It was the one in high school.
Super stupid.
Yeah, it was the one in high school that, oh god, she had to have cheated on me who knows how many times.
Exactly.
And I didn't even, and it's one of the things that you find out.
I remember that, man.
Your friends don't tell you, you know, none of your friends tell you. And then, like, it's funny because most people wouldn't discuss this stuff, but LP will happily tell you he's been cheated on so many times. Because then it'll make you feel better about your life, you know? Yeah, this person cheated on me a lot of times in high school. It was like towards that. Yeah, it was towards towards the mom going to prison stuff. It was right in there. So it was. Oh, that's why I got all pesto and negative.
Okay.
That's why I forgot. Yeah.
There's a bunch of collaborating of
all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
But anyways, like the contrast was those people versus who's now. Baby girl.
Nowadays it's amazing. Baby girl is a solid rock.
Yeah.
In my life.
She's got the power of not giving an F, as CT Fletcher would put it.
Yeah, the power of not giving an F, man.
New video coming out pretty soon on CT's channel.
Plug. Check it out. Go. Yeah, and met baby girl and continued lifting, and I got her into lifting. She was on this like weird paying one of those personal trainers that has you doing like lots and lots of strange stuff, eating a lot of weird meals so that you like feel cool. You know what I mean? So you're like, oh, I'm eating weird things and I have to go to the store to buy this weird thing. So it's definitely helping me lose weight because I'm paying this guy, and I have to make a trip to the grocery store like every day. It's just completely stupid. And so there was that, and I got her into lifting basically, and she actually started lifting like heavy weight, and it was pretty awesome. I was blown away that she went.
Pretty stoked about it.
She completely listened to everything I said, and she saw like a huge change because she went from doing no weight and doing cardio all the time to deadlifting 185. Yeah. Almost deadlifting 225.
Yeah, I remember you're stoked about that.
Hey. I think she can bench press 135 for about 3. Very proud.
I feel like I remember you saying that.
And yeah, now her journey, this is drifting off into her journey a little bit. Now she's going towards more cardio stuff. Yeah. She's discovered that the weightlifting is kind of maintaining weight a little bit too much.
Yeah. We've got some visitors now. They saw us and they came over. So we'll wrap this up. But
let me think.
I mean, that kind of like brings us a bridge to now.
And now there's now, which is the end of this bulk. And I'm frightened, to be honest, if I'm telling the truth, because I was just talking to you about this. I'm afraid of cutting because bulking has become very easy for me. Yeah. Eating a big giant T-bone steak last night, I was like that big. It went from that big to nothing in no time. And I was like, can I have another one? And then I thought, I'm about to start cutting. I can't be doing this frame of mind anymore. It's pretty crazy. Dude, that I finally got there.
You used to be like, there's so much food you're eating right now, bro. And I'm like, well, one day when you bulk for long enough, bro, you'll need to feed yourself this much. Yeah. And now you get to that point. It's crazy. But then you'll get to the same point when you're cutting, after this cut, where you're gonna be like, I can't eat that. That has too much fat. That has too much carbs. That has too much sugar.
I'm gonna be a Nazi.
Yeah, it's crazy how different your mind changes. But yeah. So that brings us
to now. Next, what is it, 4 months off?
4 months off.
4 months off.
Mid-June.
Very first competition ever. That is the next big step in my life, for sure. I'm very nervous about the whole thing.
I'm super excited.
Tanning, all the stuff.
Oh, I can't wait to see you tanned.
I'm not paying the tan. I'm doing the stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going old school with it. Nice. Not doing the spray stuff.
I like the rub tan.
Got the tub, the rub tan.
The rub-a-dub.
Do you tan your face? Do you tan?
Do.
I mean, it's so many questions for me.
It'll just be so much funnier if you do.
It's intense. I'm very, very nervous. And I'm saying that just so that you guys out there, like, if you're nervous about competing, that way you know, even your solid rock guy that is almost never nervous about anything is nervous about competing.
Hey. This is so funny because if you told not smiling phase LP that he was gonna go on stage in orange tan with
I'd be like,
shorts on,
that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Showing off your body. Yeah, you would have been like, that sounds so dumb. I have to smile the whole time I'm up there and try to look charismatic. What does that even mean?
That's dumb.
That's stupid and you're gross.
Lifting weights.
So I just think it's funny how like the way you've rabbit holed yourself around your life. Because when I knew you before, and then the mid-time I knew you, and then now I know you, like, so much different personality and mood.
There's a lot of shifts. And, like, I encourage people to know that, like, fluctuation and change is, like, great.
A good thing.
Your psyche, your brain, everything, I hate to sound weird right now, but it's just like a muscle. You need to move it, and it needs to do stuff. And, like...
Even the bad stuff is good.
Yeah, unexpected things happening kind of a good thing sometimes.
Even if you go through depression for a couple months, I'm not saying like stay in your depression, it's good to be depressed, but what I'm saying is once you experience depression, you understand depression versus where you could be or where you are now.
And if there's one thing you don't want to do is divert that path of recognizing what's going on. Recognize what's going on, kind of marinate in it for a minute. If you get depressed, kind of marinate there for a moment and realize what's going on.
Analyze
instead of like going and drinking it off or
masking it.
Yeah, a lot of people now like they
food,
sexual stuff is their addiction that they do that masks things, depression, all that. Don't drift towards that. I encourage you guys, like, really recognize what's going on and like, this is what I hate about my life. Okay, let's think about it. All right, I'm a little depressed. Maybe you should be depressed, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I feel like anybody can grow to something that you want to be just by having enough insight about where you have been.
Yes.
Straight up. Even if you've had the best life in the world, having insight to understand that you haven't had a bad life gives you insight into the fact that you have a great life. Because like when I hear things like this, I'm like, I never did that when I was a kid. Yeah. You know, my mom was like, you just a normal mom, you know, or like, or like, you know, like my high school experience, I didn't get like tons of detention or referrals, or I didn't have like kids picking on me or anything like that, like nothing like that. Like it was just like well, I guess I had kids picking on me, but other than that, but you know, it just gives you perspective hearing other people. So I feel like it's important to have insight. And that's what this video is for, essentially, is to give other people insight into your life.
And I'm not mentioning anybody and trying to throw them under the bridge or anything like that again. I'm just mentioning all this stuff because I feel like you guys should hear it so that way you can relate to it.
Yeah, just factually giving your story, really. And that's part of your story.
And yet again, I can't tell you guys how nervous I was to record this. When he told me what we were recording, I was like,
I was excited.
Oh my gosh. And then I started thinking about it, I'm like, I'm not gonna try and come up with a story right now. I'm just gonna hop on camera and tell what comes to my mind.
That's what it should be. That's what a Chopping It Up truly is. I love them. So there you go, guys. There is the full uncut. Hopefully you listen to this while you're doing cardio, driving your car, jogging.
People are definitely gonna listen to this, I feel.
Banging your girlfriend while listening to this.
If you are, double thumbs up, I guess. Good for you. I mean,
this is where you wrap it up,
listen
boss.
to LP's story. I mean, that's cool. You know, cool girlfriend.
No, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I wanted to give some different insight that I don't have. This is really one of the biggest purposes of Chopping It Up. So, I mean, we can discuss certain things, but sometimes it's good to have other people just give their stories or their perspectives that I don't have and I can't experience, just to open up my own perspective and your perspective, give something different to the channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, this is my brother, legitimately. So go subscribe to his channel, LP, Lanky Progress TV.
Mythical Unicorn.
The link is right there. So go subscribe to him, check out his content. We're both going to be in the Arnold. It's on the 3rd through the 6th of next month. So we're going to see you guys in Columbus, Ohio.
All 3 days?
At the Arnold, Friday, Saturday, and
all 3
Sunday,
days.
baby.
All 3 days.
Be there. Do not be square. Be a triangle or an obtuse angle.
Make sure and say hi. Don't not say hi. If you see us and you know us, do not say hi. I hate when people do that.
Be so mad at you.
Say hi. Give us a hug.
Give it a thumbs up. Let us know what you thought in the comments below, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Team Beyond the Week, CT.
Lift heavy or die, MIRIN, mother.